Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me for your daily tarot reading. The idea is to pick the card that draws you, that pulls you. And we'll begin. All right. For those of you who chose, this yellow stone, we have the Tower, we have the Ten of Cups, look at this, and we have the Queen of Wands. All right. Well, there might be something that is a Tower moment going on for you right now. It could be, just overarching energy, or it can be something sudden that happens this week. However, look at this. The Ten of Cups says you keep your cool. And in fact, your family's fine. And your household's fine. The people you care about. That kind of, whatever feels like home, whoever makes it feel like home to you, they're all basically all right. So that's nice. That's reassuring. Sometimes this Ten of Cups is also somebody from the other side. A family member, probably. Somebody we feel like is family from the other side saying, we're here with you too. We're complete. Don't worry. We're all here. Just because some might be on one side and the other on the other side doesn't mean we're not complete. So that's always quite lovely to get that card. And then we have the Queen of Wands. So that is purposeful, that is priority driven, that is energetic, that is I can do this, that is focus, life. And this person is, she's just really in the flow. She can feel life flowing through her. She knows which way to direct her energy. So if that's your card, that's really good news. I mean, you can get through whatever it is you need to get through. Now, the Tower isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's just something that really does shake things up and change things so that we have something, a new day. It's something new then coming in. It does disrupt the status quo, but that does give us an opening sometimes to move ahead with something that's more in line with our priority and our purpose. So, I think there's some reassurance here, and there's some, I think Spirit is wanting you to know that it really truly is all right. Even though it might not feel like it all the time, it is, and you're doing well. So those are terrific cards. Terrific cards. If you have any worry about a family member, well, that Ten of Cups says, you don't need to worry about them. For those of you who chose this petrified wood, this brown petrified wood that fell on the floor, but now I've got it back. We have the Judgment card. We have the Knight of Cups reverse. We have the Six of Swords. All right. So this is clarity and good judgment. Right there in the middle is your major arcana. That's the angels helping you. That can be judgment falling. And look at this. The Knight of Cups. Now, upright. Well, this is somebody who can be bringing welcome news, can be making you feel good, can be making a good impression, can be you doing that too. But it's the knight, it's not the king or queen, so they're sometimes not fully mature, and they're very good at reading people's feelings, and they're insightful about that kind of thing. So they can sometimes hide some things. They can sometimes put their best foot forward. You don't see the whole picture, and sometimes it's manipulative. I don't know of a better way to say it. And I say that because we get this card upside down. So, in other words, if there's anybody in your environment who is doing that, maybe not telling you the whole story, and maybe they're not being particularly malicious or have terrible intentions or anything. Sometimes it's just what we do when we meet somebody, or we want something from someone, or we're trying to make a good impression for one reason or another. But the point is, your clarity is crystal clear. Your judgment is very good. In fact, with this help from the angel, you may have a flash of insight. Oh, this is what's really going on with this person. Or, huh, you know, he said this or she said this, but I kind of think that's not exactly all of it. You know, I kind of think this is the real truth. You may be getting, sometimes, you know, we can get from via our intuition, we can sort of get almost insider information. You know, we can get flashes of awareness that normally we wouldn't get on our own. Of course, many people who are intuitive are so used to them, they don't even realize that that's what's happening for them. They don't even realize that they benefit from that a lot because they just experience it as a working part of their own consciousness. But you know, this is some help. The Six of Swords is a why, that's part of the reason why you have this insight and awareness and clarity, because you've been through some things that have taught you some valuable lessons, and you sure as heck have taken them into calmer shores and used them to build a better future. That's what you're doing now. That's what you are going to continue to be doing. So that is the information with these cards. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to know that whatever it is we do go through that's difficult to learn, you know, it is learned. It benefits us then. We can benefit from those lessons. All right. For those of you who chose the red and yellow stone, we have the Empress. Yay. We have the Six of Coins. We have the Three of Swords. All right. So there may be something in your environment that kind of is reminding you of something that is hurtful to you, or a disappointment, a frustration, negative thoughts, painful thoughts, something. There may be something that is reminiscent of something you already went through that kind of it pokes at that a little bit. These are not new wounds. You know, there's no blood dripping. This is old stuff. Sometimes it can be a source of heartache that we haven't let go of yet, that we haven't looked at solidly and said, now, I believe this about that situation, but is that correct? Is that an accurate view of the situation? I'm more evolved now. I'm older now. I'm wiser now. Maybe I need to look back at that and look at it and ask Spirit to help me to see it differently. So whenever an old wound or something like that does get triggered, and it could be because there's something that happens that, you know, is, oh, more of the same, you know, whatever, it seems like more of the same. Sometimes that is our opportunity then to look at it and undo some of it. See if we can challenge it. See if it truly is another example of this belief we have about ourselves or about the world or about our lives. Or is it? Is it really? Are we making too much of what's going on now? You know, could we see it a different way? So sometimes that's an opportunity. And I get that, especially because we have the Empress here. That's your major arcana. Pregnant with a new possibility, pregnant with a new beginning. It's fertile ground for a new and life-giving direction in some area of your life. So because you've got that Empress, it is a very good time to challenge maybe a painful thought or belief and say, okay, but can't I just learn from the past? And is there any evidence that I've changed things some since then? Is there any evidence that, no, things are not exactly the same. In fact, they are different, and I'm growing, and maybe there's a new place I want to be, a new thing I want to explore, a new way of being regarding this particular source of heartbreak, these painful thoughts. Maybe there's a new beginning coming in. So I encourage action with this, because the Empress, just because we're pregnant with a new possibility doesn't mean it happens. We do have to participate in birthing that. The five, and if you're listening to me and you're going, well, what do? I don't know what I do. Well, sometimes we just ask for clarity from Spirit and we go on about our business. This Five of Coins is somebody giving, somebody wanting to lift something up, somebody being helpful. You know, sometimes that's what we do. We just avail ourselves to the good work of the day. You know, something that offers practical help and assistance. And that can sometimes be very helpful to us, especially if we have a wonderful interaction with somebody who's appreciative, or we just feel so good because we're helping somebody who really does have it way worse than us. Maybe that's the meaning of these cards too, is sort of rather than focus on what we may fear is a repeated pattern of painful thoughts. Maybe if we look to help, offer some practical assistance, or really understand, lift up somebody who is really suffering from painful repetitive patterns, who is really, maybe somebody who is where we used to be with something. Maybe that helps us to see, wait a minute, are we still caught in the same trap, or have we really grown quite a lot? So there's something new coming in. If you're not exactly sure what it is, this is the good advice for today, I think. All right, so this is wonderful. Spirit might just be doing it, sort of walking you down the path gradually, like the temperance angel does. And Spirit might just be doing that, and you're going to see it unfolding. And you just need to do the next good thing. For those of you who chose this white tan gray stone, it's got fossils of coral in it. We have, or at least it's pictured. I'm not sure it's true or accurate, but you know what? It's lovely. For those of you who chose that stone, we have the Page of Swords, we have the Ace of Cups, and we have the Four of Swords. So yes, okay. So there's help from Spirit, comfort and love, probably comfort and love. You should be taking good care of yourself. That's why I say it's comfort and love, because Spirit sometimes with this Four of Swords advises a retreat. Advises us to just take good care of ourselves. Sometimes there could be somebody in your environment saying something off the top of their head. Maybe they're a young person, or maybe it's just they're saying something that's not well thought out, or they're sharing an opinion that, well, it makes sense to their intellect, but you know what? It's shallow. It's not seeing the whole picture. It's underdeveloped. And they may be even saying something. They may even be argumentative, or they may be crabby or impulsive in what they're saying. Well, if that's the situation for you, it may bring some emotional. Spirit wants to love you and get you to nurture yourself and take good care of yourself. Because sometimes when others do things that wear on us or hurt us, or they just cost us some emotional energy, Sometimes Spirit says, don't get too bound up in that. Spirit can rejuvenate us and recompense us and heal us. And sometimes we can come out of an interaction like that after we do connect with Spirit and we love ourselves. We can come out much more energized than we could imagine. So I think that could be the interpretation for some of you. For others of you, this is a new plan that you've picked up, a new plan. It's a page because it's brand new. It's not fully developed, or you're not at the end of it. You're just at the beginning of it. And there's a peak emotional experience. This is sort of like it's an emotional, either it's coming out of an emotional time, or it's coming out of a joyful peak emotional experience too. It could be that. And it could be a plan that, like I said, it doesn't have to be all well thought out till the end, but just, I'm going to do this. Can involve speech, it can involve writing, but it seems to make sense to your logic. Now, the Four of Swords is it's coming out of retreat. So sometimes we have to get a new idea and insight after we hang up all our old worries. Like this person is taking a mental break too. All the swords, all the thoughts, all the things that are worrisome, all the plans that are maybe hard to figure out, all of the reasoning that goes nowhere, that's all put aside. It's put aside. I'm taking a break from that. So maybe that's the situation where you need to take a break from that. You need to allow yourself time to not figure something out and just be good to yourself emotionally. Pay attention to your emotion. And then out of that comes a new clarity, a new plan, a new idea. A new way of looking at it, it can be too. That can just simply be a new and more accurate way of looking at it that will grow. So there's a lot of mixed kinds of messages in these, but I just see help. I just see a lot of help from Spirit. When you get something like this is a spiritual help. And I see a shift with good self-care. So that is a terrific reading. And sometimes these kinds of cards come up and we think, well, we're not having that tough of a day. It's not that big of a deal. Sometimes Spirit is saying, wait a minute, just because you're pretty tough and you manage a lot of things, you handle a lot of difficult or stressful or emotionally challenging things, and you just do it like a champion, doesn't mean it's not significant. And it doesn't mean you don't need to do good self-care. You don't need to be compassionate toward yourself, nurturing toward yourself. You still need to do that. So with that, I hope you have a marvelous day, and I thank you all for watching and sharing this with me and liking, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.